Keynote address by Mr. V. Srinivas, IAS Secretary, Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, Government of India. Sir, please join us on the stage. Just one humble request. We are already running almost half an hour late, so if we stick to the timing, it will be, So can we have the presentation, sir?
So very good morning to all. Congratulations to Government of Assam for organizing this massive conference today. In fact, in 2019, we had done the National E-Governance Conference at Shillong, and it was a fantastic conference. My mind was going back to the work done by Rebecca Suchiang as Additional Chief Secretary in charge of personnel and administrative reforms in that period. Well, we have a presentation for you. If you have the time, I'll run through it. Otherwise, it can be circulated to all members. The theme of the conference is quite strong in terms of digital transformation. And when you see the subject of maximum governance, minimum government, what does it need? It needs a digitally empowered nation, a digitally empowered citizen, and a digitally transformed institution. How do you create a digitally transformed institution? It will require massive secretariat reforms. We did hear that Assam has adopted e-office. You need to have government conducting these massive campaigns, which are again on digital platforms, benchmark governance, redressal of public grievances online, recognizing meritocracy. Today you have awards being distributed, and to ensure an overall digital transformation of institutions. This is the broad objective. Let me take up a few thrust areas. The CP Grams, of course, has been a system which many of us have worked for years, but it has undergone massive reform. And the reform is a 10-pronged reform that is seen in terms of having a one nation, one grievance portal, because there's been an exponential outreach of citizens to reach out to government to redress grievances. Use of artificial intelligence and machine learning, dedicated feedback call centers, language translation, common service center facilitation, also enhancements in terms of flagging of urgent grievances, monitoring dashboards, having a grievance redressal index, capacity building for almost 50,000-60,000 officers online, and there's been a new outreach in terms of citizen welfare. One of the big changes is CP Gram 7.0, when the grievance lands at the last mile. What does digital transformation entail? And as I've been associated with the AIMS digital transformation, thereafter with the Board of Revenue of Rajasthan's transformation, now work on these two very large platforms of CP Grams and e-office across India. It means delivering results real time and ensuring that grievances are redressed on time, and also in terms of e-office, ensuring that the files move interministerial transfers are on time. And as you can see, in terms of the grievances redressed, we started with something like 10 lakh grievances, and today almost 25 lakh grievances are being addressed. And as you can see, the number of grievance officers has gone up manifold. There is a rapid reduction in grievance redressal time, and perhaps in the next 6 months we are looking at 15 days grievance redressal time being given. It's important to document reform, and personal experiences need to be documented, data needs to be documented and analyzed, and this can be done through multiple monthly reports, dedicated feedback call centers so that citizen satisfaction is monitored, and availability of technology at the doorstep. So there is a need to bridge the gap between the internet rich and the internet poor, and that kind of bridging can be done through the common service centers. 5.38 lakh common service centers currently provide Aadhaar, currently provide CP Grams, and we have the efforts for recognizing meritocracy. This has been done through the Prime Minister's Awards for Excellence in Public Administration. In fact, there is an officer from Assam also on this picture, which was taken on April 21, 2022, in terms of district collectors who performed outstanding work. This year's PM's awards cover a series of areas, including digital innovations. Thousands of nominations have been received, and there is another set of awards at the national level, which is the National eGov Awards. And these were just conferred at Katra on 26th of November. And these are photographs of the national conferences that are held on an annual basis. I'm glad to see the government of Assam's initiative of a regional conference is so highly successful, attracting so many talents across India. We also need a digital transformation. For example, when you look at a state secretariat, it would need huge backing up in terms of legal reforms. And the Central Secretariat Manual of Office Procedure was revamped to ensure that all officers up to deputy secretaries are given virtual private networks. Also, under-secretaries are issued laptops, section officers are issued digital signature certificates. So the march towards creation of a digital secretariat or a digital collectorate needs to be backed by a significant reform measure in terms of the rule-making process. Also, faster decision-making necessitates a digital transformation of an institution. So these are some of the steps that the Government of India has taken in terms of digitization of offices, digitization of central registration units, adoption of e-Office 7.0, delegation of financial powers, adoption of desk office system, delayering where files don't move more than 4 levels, and use of e-Office analytics. Adoption of e-Office alone isn't enough. It needs to adopt analytics to understand where blockages exist. So this is in terms of how the Central Secretariat has adopted reform, 61 ministries on e-Office 7.0. Every time a file moves beyond the prescribed levels of delayering, red flags go up. In terms of delayering, not more than 4 levels every time a file moves. And if it goes beyond that, the red flag goes up. Then delegation of financial powers has been reviewed. Desk officer system necessitates decision making at the last level. Central registration units ensure that physical dark is totally eliminated. Everything operates on digital dark. Many of us work on special campaigns. We've done this special campaign in Government of India for institutionalizing Swachhata and minimizing pendency in government. 101,000 office sites were taken up. How do you coordinate sitting in Delhi a campaign on a pan-India basis? Revenue earned from merely freeing up office scrap was 370 crores. Strong digital portals enable you to identify, monitor logs, and ensure systemic efficiency. So this was the spread of the campaign. When you operate a strong digital portal which backed by social analytics, the outreach can be phenomenal. 67,000 media tweets that were issued had impression numbers of more than 4 billion and 9 lakh positive engagements. So this was the quantum of outreach that could be seen in a G2G campaign. This campaign on a digital portal sitting in Delhi, we could monitor the work undertaken on a pan-India basis. Best practices could be identified, and these are before-after scenarios. We all work in office spaces, and we'd like to have transformed office spaces in which we work. A series of best practices that came up. In fact, there was one of these vertical gardens in terms of office enhancement, tribal practices for eco-friendly tradition was taken up. And the next one is with regard to benchmarking governance, and we bring out 2 publications. One is the Good Governance Index and the other is the National E-Services Delivery Assessment. The Good Governance Index pictures various states in terms of quality of governance, and you find Assam listed quite highly in terms of northeastern states in the GGI 2021 report. Agriculture sector, once again, Assam does well. Commerce and industry too, they're doing well. Human resource development is again a top performer. Economic governance, they seem to be doing well. And citizen-centric governance, where the interface between the citizen and government is sought to be brought down. Assam seems to be doing quite strongly in terms of the northeastern states. The race to integrate and compete with the rest of India, that is where challenges remain. The other one is in terms of the National E-Services Delivery Assessment. Here the objective is to ensure that not only the mandatory services are delivered online, but also to ensure that the optional services, which number about 800, are fully saturated. So I think the next target in pursuance of this conference should be to take up and ensure that all the 56 mandatory services are ensured, and the portals that are created are accessible, content is available, ease of use, information security is maintained. So the adoption of e-office has been referred to, and it's quite a game changer to see paperless offices being adopted across the length and breadth of the country. In fact, we did pursue a vision of having a fully paperless state secretariats of Northeast by 2024, and I think most of the states I saw in Manipur, Meghalaya, Sikkim, many states have adopted e-office, and the reform has been phenomenal. In fact, one of the big success stories is Jammu Kashmir adopting e-office, and their Darbar movement was abolished because both secretariats could be simultaneously operationalized, one in Jammu and one in Srinagar. We also celebrate the Good Governance Week, which is from 19th of December this year, and the objective is to ensure that multiple portals function in unison. The Civil Services Day once again recognizes outstanding meritocracy, particularly in areas of digital governance. Vision India 2047 with regard to envisages a digitally transformed nation and digitally transformed institution with majority of services being delivered online. The focus is on young civil servants who will be participating in policy making levels by 2047, and the objective is deepening secretariat reforms, special campaigns which are totally innovatively driven so that the last mile citizen can be reached, redressal of public grievances, and improving service delivery. We've had this massive collaboration with IIT Madras, in which enabled formulation of a concept paper with regard to how Vision India 2047 with focus on young civil servants can work. And I'm glad to see a number of young civil servants of Assam also have been incorporated into this group that will be delivering the 2047 policy reform vision document. Thank you very much.